at Shivashivani Institute of Management. Today, we are here to discuss a very important topic, a topic that is very, very relevant to you all, the aspiring managers of tomorrow. Yes, today we are here to discuss on corporate expectations out of the management graduates. We all might have the notion that we are perfect. However, there are cases when the corporate expectations out of us just might not meet or match. Therefore, before we start this important journey of our life, a journey that will decide the course of the next 30 plus prime years of our life, it is important to understand what is it that the corporate members expect from us, the aspiring managers, the leaders of tomorrow. We are very honored to have with us someone who has been in the industry and dealt with people like you all, not just for a year or two, but for more than 2 decades. We welcome Mr. Aditya Reddy, a person with profound experience in the industry and knowing the industry in and out, working in various domains, especially in the domain of human resources. He is a graduate in accounting, a qualified HR professional with 2 postgraduate degrees in human resource management, personal management, and labor law, and also holds a chartered certification in HR management from CIPD. With over 23 years of experience in human resources, Mr. Aditya started his career in HR consulting firm. Since 2005, he has been into core HR management for various groups of companies in the UAE, comprising of private and sovereign entities. In 2024, Mr. Aditya had a career change and he started his own business in UAE and heads the GCC and MENA regions. What more, he is a distinguished alumnus of Shivashivani Institute of Management, and therefore he is the best person who can brief you all about the two sides of the scale, the institute as well as the corporate side. We welcome you, sir, and it is an honor to have you with us today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for all the kind words. Thanks for the lovely introduction. I would put in a bit of my introduction as well because being students, I don't want to make it sound very formal. So talking about myself, I'm a proper Hyderabadi by heart. Born and raised in Hyderabad. I like my biryanis, my halims, my niharis and payas. And yeah, my education, schooling was from HPS, intermediate from Little Flower, graduation from Wesley. One of my masters on campus was Shivashivani. Second was from AIMS Chennai, correspondence. And after almost 20 years of education, I had to put on my student hat back for CIPD because I felt my HR knowledge was obsolete. I need to refresh it with the current trends. That's how CIPD happened. And yes, I think, as ma'am rightly said, opportunity strikes only once. You need to make good use of it. So an opportunity came to me this year. So I thought it's good enough to change my career now. Enough of 23 years of human resources. So that's how I got into business. And yeah, that's about myself and my education. Talking about my career, I started off way back in 96, right after my undergrad. I was a recruitment consultant for 2 years. After Shivashivani, I joined a call center, Wipro Spectromine in Delhi. Hated it, working graveyard shifts, never liked it, so got out of the industry. Had the money, went on a small holiday, thought of meeting my girlfriend in Dubai, came to Dubai, liked the place, stayed back. It wasn't a career plan to come to Dubai. It just happened. And yeah, that's how Dubai has been treating us well, been here for a long time. And here I am, so however I could serve SSIM, it's my pleasure to do it. And yeah, that's about me in a small paragraph. I hope that was small. And coming to our main topic, as ma'am has rightly said, ma'am, do I have the rights to share the screen?
I hope so. I will just check it there. I've given you this side. Right, sir.
Fine. Is my screen clear? All right. Thank you. Now, the topic for today, which we are going to discuss on, is What are the corporate expectations from fresh graduates? Now that's quite clear. I don't need to explain much on it. Let's coming to the next slide. Yeah. In my research on what is expected and in my experience, what is expected from graduates, these are the 6 top most parameters every organization looks at. Organizations do understand that most of the fresh graduates do not have the know-how nor the practical working knowledge. So what they look for is basically soft skills. Now, these are the soft skills which every person nurtures, learns, and implements in daily life. It could be your social skills, it could be your behavior skills. These could be hard skills, soft skills. But mostly what organizations look for is your adaptability. Sorry, there's a third point. Let's start with the first one, communication skills. I'm sure your schools, colleges, your masters, everywhere you're going to listen to this one particular thing that improve your communication skills. You know, the one reason why you have examinations is to understand your communication skills as well. If there are a certain percentage of marks given to the subject matter, the rest of the marks are for how well you have written it. So please understand, reading, writing, speaking are something which you can learn, which you can be taught. But listening is something which nobody teaches you. This is something which you have to inculcate and you have to learn yourself. Most answers you get not by asking questions, but by pure listening. So please understand, listening is a skill. And as there's a saying in Telugu, I'm sure most of you might not know Telugu, so I'll keep it to English. You have 2 ears to listen twice and 1 mouth to speak once. So speak less, listen more. Half your answers you get from listening. And always ensure and concentrate to improve your listening skills. Be it in an interview, be it in a group discussion, be it in a viva, wherever in life, be it with your boss. No boss wants to be educated. They want somebody who can listen. So please understand, of all the skills, listening is the utmost priority. And you have to give it a lot of attention to put in an effort to learn this skill of listening. Now, the second point which most organizations look for is team orientation. That is your social skills. How well you perform in a team. How well you can fit into a team. Because each team's dynamics are different. Each organization culture is different. So they would want to see how well this particular prospective candidate can fit into their organization. Do they see the right fit in the person? So it depends on you, how well you portray yourself. So whenever you speak, it should be, for example, it should be more of a we wherever it's a team. It should be more of a I wherever it's an individual contribution. But as far as possible, our actions, our words, they should show that you're a team-oriented person. Now, adaptability is how well you would adapt to change. Let's say even if it's not the first job which you're going to, because they do understand that you're not coming from a corporate, so you would not have the practical work experience and the outlook for an experienced person. So what they look for is basically how well you adapt to change. So you need to prove yourself because always you would face trick questions. No question is direct in an interview. It's always masked. So think of it, have practice sessions, understand each word, go do your research. I'm sure most of you are very good with the internet skills, unlike us where we didn't have the internet until the start of this century. And yeah, the fourth is your persuasion skills. Persuasion talks about how persuasion and perseverance both go together. So you should not be, basically they look for somebody who's not a flipper. As in, do you accept challenges? Do you take it positively? You know, these are the things which they look for when they say the person is persuasive. And of course, decision making, that should prove with what you have done in the past. Whether you have taken a right decision for your career, you can, let's say you have taken mathematics in your intermediate but dropped it. Or you have taken sciences in your intermediate but dropped it and moved to BCom or BA. That is a red flag for a recruiter. So they would ask a question like, why? So please ensure that you have a valid reason. Reasons like my father told me, my mother told me, my friends joined this college, they're not acceptable. You need to have valid answers. Now, of course, emotional intelligence is very, very important, which I'll have. I kept it for Samarpita ma'am's question because she raised this question. So I thought I will elaborate it later after I finish my slides. Now, these are the collective skills. It's never ending. It's just like economics, what it says, human wants are unlimited. It's the same thing with any company. They want Superman in a office boy role, but it's okay. There are some skills which can be developed. So sorry, let me move this screen a bit. Yeah, I've divided them into functional competencies and behavioral competencies. If you're experienced, that's when functional would come in more. But as far as possible, understanding that most of you would be freshers, I have made it to suit a fresher. Now, most of it is self-explanatory. I don't want to go through everything. So I just wanted to take you through the most important points. Here, I would leave those and come to things like time management. Very, very important. Tardiness is never accepted, neither in college, neither anywhere. Your organization is not your father's. If you're taking up as an employee, your KPI would be timekeeping as well. So it's very important that you respect others' time. They look at, it all shows in the kind of questions recruiter puts up. Everything is masked. So they would know uh, whether you're lying or your answers are genuine. Always try and be on time. If not on time, be there 5 minutes before time. Respect others' time for others to respect your time. Very, very important. Now, your influencing skills, they will all show because every time a recruiter puts a question, they'll mask it. They want to see how well you adapt. What are your social skills? If you have handled any, let's say, team events or any of the major events in your college, participate. There's never a dearth of opportunities in college. Yes, your university or college will come up and say, whoever wants to volunteer, it is not a choice. Go do it. There's nothing wrong. Even you might do 1% contribution, but still you'll get to learn. A lot of dynamics happen through socializing. Socializing does not mean going to a pub, drinking a beer. I'm talking about on campus, 9 to 6. Yes, rest of them are all self-explanatory. Please, I'll share this slide with you. You can go do your research online. I'm very sure that you guys are amazing with your tablets and mobile phones. Now, I'll come to the functional competencies. Now, these selling skills, these all have divided roughly based on the most important things they look for. Let's say you applied for a sales job. So they would look for your selling skill. And of course, communication comes everywhere. That's the only way you can express yourself. I'm sorry. Your negotiation skills, again, for sales functions and purchase and procurement functions. Change management skills for HR people. Very, very important. Because every HR person, at every time a new policy introduced, a new system introduced, a new SOP, standard operating procedures introduced, there's always a friction. There's always a no-no. People don't accept change easily. Everybody gets comfortable in their chairs, in their positions. And this is where HR people come in handling change. You should know how to deal with people. Empathy, sympathy, cajole, make friends. But yes, be stern. HR people can't make friends, number one. Because the moment you become a friend as an HR person, you become a doormat. So don't do that. Maintain your professionalism. Yes, and coming to the fourth point in functional competencies, let's talk about the current thing. Everything is automated, everything runs on softwares. So SCM is a supply chain management softwares. HRMS stands for Human Resource Management Systems. The same thing, there would be some software for sales and marketing. IT, I don't need to tell, everything falls under IT. The same way there's operational softwares, the manufacturing softwares. You would learn it once you get onto the shop floor, join an organization, you would have your training. But apart from that, there are a lot of free softwares available online. Once you take up your specialization in your second year, and you know that you are pursuing your career into a particular domain, please do your research. What you learn in college is only 50%. What teachers tell you is only 50%. The rest 50% is self-help. You have to do your research, because the Indian, I'm not putting anything down, everything to itself, everybody has their own credit. The Indian system of studying is you are prescribed certain books. You are asked to read those books, understand, and your questions come from those books. But the Western system of education does not run that way. Ma'am, I can be corrected if I'm wrong, because my knowledge is 2 decades old. But the West, because I studied just a few years back, and it was very different, and I liked it as well. The overall book questions are only 40%. The rest of the 60% is total research and methodology. You need to do your research, you cannot copy paste. I'm sure all of you know about Turnitin. That's a beautiful software, it catches everything you copy. So you basically need to have your own written submitted thesis or project, whatever you're submitting. And coming to the fifth and the most important part is learn MS Office suite, get your certifications. Do not, just because MS Office is user friendly, does not mean you know everything in it. Go do it. Excel is an amazing tool which every function uses in an organization, right from accounting to HR to marketing to sales. Every single person, including the front office, the receptionists also use Excel for the day-to-day activities. Please learn Excel. Very, very important. You qualified in Excel opens a number of doors, because it's not easy to learn Excel. It's a little complicated, but when you do it in your formative years, it gets easy. Unlike me, if I want to learn now, I again have to put on my student hat. But you guys already have the bone in you. The bone is active, the student bone. So please take time out, go for your weekend classes, do whatever, but learn Excel. Let's talk about the most important transferable skills corporate look for when recruiting fresh graduates. These are marked from very important to least. The very important starting on the left side, the least important is to the right hand bottom. Leadership is at the last, because considering all of your freshers, they're not looking at your typical leadership skills which organizations look for. It's basically they want to see how well you're being a leader in your college, in your off college level, be it in a sport. The best example for showing off your leadership qualities is if any of you are playing a sport or an activity. That's where your leadership comes in. Why I say stressing on sport more is because sports are all team events. Activities are all singular. Activities are like swimming. Yes, it's a sport, it's physical sport, fine, but it's more of an individual performance. Water polo is a team sport. The same way chess is an activity, carom is an activity, playing cards is an activity. It's not a sport. Sports are what are team oriented. So please, if you haven't done till now, or you have done it in some part of or some time in life, I suggest activate that. Get into sports. Show that you have been active. Your leadership is tested through me being a recruiter, I know what kind of questions come in. So when the people ask you, do you play a sport? It's not that they want to know what sport you play. This is where your leadership qualities are judged. To be sorry for the negative word, but yes, you'll be judged. Your trustworthiness is why they look for is to see your commitment towards organization. Are you a flipper? A flipper is somebody who works for 6 months, gets bored before the probation period. The person does not need to give a notice, neither the company needs to give a notice, so they move. So that's where they want to see the trustworthiness of a person, whether you're reliable, you can handle confidential information. Any person going into HR, very, very important. Anybody going into finance, very, very important skill, trustworthiness and confidentiality, reliability, how motivated you are, communication again. Now the willingness to, I put 3 dots because you can put any word over there. willingness to learn, willingness to change, willingness to adapt, willingness to subordinate, willingness to take up a new task. It could be anything. Always be open. Do not build barriers because your learning ends the moment you feel, I've mastered it. No, learn something else. So always you keep your willingness open. Your commitment, that's what organizations look for. Very, very important. I've spoken this earlier. And yes, your interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills is basically a behavioral skill where how well you treat people, how well you want to be treated, how do you speak, how do you handle your tone. You can have a very stern tone, but you can always use a please, would you, could you, and make it sound good. You don't need to be meek, but depends on the situation. So some situations require you to be humble, some situations require you to be stern. So there are different ways where you have to make an effort to, how do you call it, your voice modulation. Very, very important. To, these are things which complement your interpersonal skills. Adaptability, we have spoken again in the previous slide. Teamwork, yes. Initiative, always offer to help. There is, every organization has a performance appraisal system. Most of them do. And they're very robust. Now, initiation would always be not written as a KPI. KPIs, key performance indicators. Now, this is something which is observed, whether this person extends help to others, how well the person takes care of people who have asked for any help. Yep. And how, of course, most of these are all, how do I put it, behavioral skills, flexibility. How self-aware are you? How much do you know about yourself? As in, to put it in a very layman example, let me talk about myself. If you tell me where do I put myself on a scale of 1 to 10 in Excel, I would say 4. Because I'm self-aware of myself. I know where I stand. I don't need to lie that I am 8, because the moment you lie in an organization, you'll get work that is worth 8. So be always careful about how you speak, what you speak. Don't overpromise, do not underdeliver. Problem solving. This is a question which is typically asked to every fresher. They will say, share an example where you are quite instrumental in problem solving. So don't go off into a cocoon with such questions. Think of anything. All these boil down to one. Sorry, I'll digress a bit. All these boil down to only one thing, that is your communication skills. You need to understand these terminologies. You need to be as good as a dictionary. We are not born English, but we can make an effort to learn the language. What we as Indians do is, which is a genuine problem, because our mother tongue is, for example, it could be Telugu, Marathi, Bihari, Bhojpuri, whatever. We think in our mother tongue and speak in English. That is the biggest mistake we do. Start thinking in English. Whenever you sit alone and you're thinking, do not think in your mother tongue or Hindi or any other language. Think only in English. That's how it will help you to understand the language. And every time you come across a word, open up your dictionary. You have the internet. Unlike us, we have to run to a proper book dictionary, open pages, learn the meaning. But for you, it's not that. You just type the word and meaning, it gives you antonyms, synonyms, everything related to it in one go. Always be on hand. Of course, you're not allowed to use mobile during classes, so carry a pocket dictionary, always helps. And yes, a great sense of humor can take you to a lot of places. It can solve a problem. It can convert a fight into a friendship. It can do a lot of stuff. Body shaming is not sense of humor. Mocking others is not sense of humor. Talking ill about others and having fun at their expense is not sense of humor. Sense of humor is something where everybody enjoys it to the same degree as what the person, same as a person who's either shared a joke or made a joke. Leadership, I finished, so I'll get to the next slide. Okay, these are the areas, the key areas which you as fresh graduates need to address it yourself. These are all pure R&D. You just need to do your research, nothing else. There are a lot of options for you online to learn. The whole internet is free for everybody. You just need to put in an effort. Remember one thing, friends. These are your foundation stones. The stronger you make them, the stronger your pillars will be tomorrow. If your foundation is weak, your building would not stand, it will collapse. Everything looks easy now. Whatever teachers say, we make fun. Yes, I did that as well. But we only understand it later in life. By then it's too late. I didn't have somebody like me who took up this topic and told me, you need to do this. Sorry, let me just silence my mobile. I forgot about that. Yeah. Sorry, where was I? Be very, very realistic now than later in life. Repent. Prevention is better than cure. No need to get to the doctor when you know that you're going to get burned if you touch a fire, right? So might as well not touch it. Okay, the most important thing as fresh management graduates you need to have is very, very realistic expectations. In the next 2 years, in your masters, you're going to hear the statement a lot. You are management graduates. You are management graduates. That does not make you managers, my friends. You are qualified in management. You are not experienced in management. So please do not expect to become managers the moment you get out of college. You need to start from scratch level. I will share what I did in my life and what I do. There are multiple organizations I work for, multiple departments. I've handled department sizes ranging from 7 to even 19, 20 in one department reporting to me. So every organization I joined, the first 1 week does not go for my boss. This is what I told all my direct reports to all my bosses. Leave me for 1 week. I'll come back to you only on the 8th working day. Why I do that is I sit with every single person in the department, understand their work. Of course, HR is the same everywhere, but the SOPs are different. The way they work is different. The culture is different. Each person, you get to learn and you get to teach as well. When you know your job from scratch level, your life gets easy. Just because you start off somewhere in middle, it does not mean you should not know what happens below your hierarchy level. Always know your complete process, right? Let's say if I'm taking human resources, understand everything from talent acquisition, recruitment to layoff to resignation. That's when you would master it. I would come to that later because I've kept it for a different point. Let's hope it comes up then. Now, second point is business awareness. You need to know your area of business. You need to do your research. Let's say you're going into a manufacturing concern. You need to understand how manufacturing concerns work. You need to sit with industry experts. Go find out from your dad's friends. I'm sure your dad will have every dad of yours, your mother would have enough contacts working in some industry or the other. Once you choose which industry you want to go to, sit with the industry experts, understand from them how the industry works. Talk about basic level. You don't need to go into depth and understand what a surgeon does. Understand how a hospital runs. Their business is running an enterprise. So understand the basics, very, very important. Because when you go for an interview and you know the industry, you've already impressed the person 50%. When they know that you have done your homework, the recruiter feels really good about it. Because they don't need to sit and educate you. They are saving a lot of time. The company saves a lot of time in your training. Again, the most important fourth point, communication skills. Do not forget, reading Wikipedia is not knowledge. Wikipedia is somebody else's contribution. It is not a source of knowledge. Please remove that from your brain. Know Wikipedia. Do your own research. Every day read a newspaper. No need to read the dirty politics and headlines and the crime paper. Read the editorial. All the people who write editorials are very, very learned people. They have immaculate skills in writing. You would learn simple English by reading editorial, because editorials are written for every common person to understand, whoever reads it. It is not meant for people who are from England or Scotland. The editorial is always very simple. Learn to read the editorials. Be it Deccan Chronicle. I would prefer Hindu of all the English newspapers. Hindu has the best editorial. You can get these papers online as well. I'm sure most of them have their online versions. Read the editorial every day. Instead of sitting on Instagram, give the time of half an hour to the editorial. It helps you a lot. I'm not preaching here. I'm talking about the mistakes I have done and learned. So if I'm telling you something, I'm not lecturing you. I'm sharing my experience. So please take it positively. I'm putting all my 20 years into half an hour and sharing it. So this is very, very important to a serious person. Somebody who's just here to attain a qualification, go into their family business. If you think MBA is not important, please don't think that way. Even for you guys who have their family businesses and there's something to bank on, even for you, it's very important to understand. Because when you join your business, I'm sure your fathers or mothers will not want you to come and sit in a director's chair and learn what a director does. They would want you to go scratch level. Every big business house does that. The same way even your fathers and mothers would want you to learn. As I told you about business awareness, learn right from the gate till the topmost chair in the organization. Learn what every stage does, every hierarchy level does. That's knowledge. And knowledge can never be begged, borrowed, or stolen. It can only be shared. Okay. Attain qualifications relevant to your business, that is your organization or your field of specialization which you have taken, or let's put it as specialization, it's easier. Qualifications such as, let's say, you're a civil engineer. I don't know if any engineers are here. So let's say you're a civil engineer. You do your BE civil engineering, you're qualified engineer, fine. But do you know that every civil engineer, right after their qualification, they go and do a PMP, a project management course? Very relevant, because that helps them to become project managers. The same way, every specialization. For example, I'm sure most of you would want to go into finance. When you say finance and accounting, it's just not accounting and it's just not handling money. Finance is divided into treasury, financial planning and analysis. It's got to do with credit ratings. It has got to do with budgeting. Accounting does not stop with just maintaining books of accounts. I'm sure some of you might be BCom graduates here, who knows? It does not start with just your journal and ends at the balance sheet. No, there is something called international accounting standards. You need to learn that to get into a multinational company which has businesses all over the world. So if you have done a finance specialization, I suggest do a qualification in international accounting standards. It would help you. Or you do your finance in MBA, but later in life, you see that you have more scope in becoming a chartered accountant. Now is not the time. You're too late for Indian ICAI. You can do ACCA, which is UK based. Relatively, people have told me it's easier. I'm not a finance guy, but worked a lot with finance people. So they've told me. So these qualifications, what I'm talking is not your MBA, but qualifications which complement your main specialization. For example, do a course on data analytics. Every function in an organization talks about data. They talk about numbers, they talk about crunching data, they talk about analytics. Do a course on data analytics, helps you, whatever field you're taking. Okay, again, willingness, the same point which I spoke to. So when I say willingness to move for work, all of us get comfortable in our hometowns. But as long as you don't have dependent parents or any direct dependents, go to a new place. What the world teaches you in travel, the home will not teach you. The day you get out, live on your own, work, you'll become a more disciplined person. Your teamwork, again, I've spoken earlier as well, very important. Please learn to be part of a team. Yes, everybody wants to be a captain. It's good. You have such an ambition. I appreciate that. But please be a team worker before being a leader. A good leader is the one who pulls people up, not lead. Leading is not just standing in the front and shouting. Leading is not being mean. Leading is setting an example, leading by example. Numeracy skills, very, very important. Ma'am, I'll just share a very good experience of mine from Shivshwani. Um, would you guys, you all must be thinking I'm a very successful guy. You know, I must be a distinction student. No, my friends, I'm not. You can say I'm an above average person because that's how much I studied. I never bothered to aim for 80%. Anyways, coming back to the main thing. My first trimester examination, statistics and quantitative techniques, it took me 6 attempts to pass. 6 attempts. After the 5th attempt, and that's how I did my second MBA also. Thanks to N.R.K. Reddy sir. When he was there, he was the dean, I guess, at that time. So yeah, my 5th attempt, I was treated as a honorary student there, every day facing insults from my lecturers, which was good. I love it now. And yeah, at last I decided one fine morning I get up. My exam was 2 months away. I get up, I made a promise to myself. This is the last time in my life I will study mathematics. Let me give my 100%. All I did was I took the last 10 years of question papers, started working on them. I went to a friend of mine and a lecturer of mine, asked them to solve these papers for me. They solved. I just started practicing them. The first time I practiced, it took me 7 hours. One whole day went in practice. But after 1 month, you wouldn't believe I was completing each paper in less than 2.5 hours. So practice makes a man perfect. That's where I learned it practically. Even though my dad told me all his life, never bothered to learn. And the examination date, I sat there, I finished the question paper in 2 hours, got 98 out of 100. I lost the 2 marks because I left the answer at fraction. I should have left it at decimal. So I lost 1 mark each for two different answers. Or not, I would have got 100 out of 100. So yes, practice makes a man perfect. Or sorry, practice makes a person perfect, not only a man. So please practice, practice, practice. My dad used to tell me, when you practice, your mind works only 25%. 75% is your hand which works. Yes, it's true. So please practice whatever it is. Read, if not one, read 10 times until you understand. Please do not by heart. I've never by hearted. It was never my skill at all. I could never by heart. Thanks to my father, he ensured that I have good communication skills right from my 5th year of age. That only helped me. I used to understand every subject, write it in my own words, and half the time I used to get marks for my communication skills. All my internal exams I passed because of communication skills. I will share another interesting story here. We used to have these 5-mark question papers in HR. Every time I used to get 3.5. For a question for, let's say the question was for performance appraisal, I wrote about law of diminishing marginal utility from economics. But since my language was so good, my lecturer used to give me 3.5 out of 5 for all my exams. Not that I didn't study for everything, but whenever I was not prepared, I used to write. I never wrote cinema stories. I used to write subject matter, but relevant subject matter. All right, coming back, I'm sure most of you are very good with your technology skills, because luckily all of you are born with laptops and tablets and mobiles. Please make good use of it. Being a, I'm not getting the term. The person who starts a WhatsApp group Being the leader of multiple groups is not at all a qualification. Please, technology is, I'm talking about MS Office, your area of specialization and related softwares. You have a lot of free softwares available. You have a lot of demos which are available. As students, you will get in LinkedIn, there is a module called LinkedIn Learning. For corporates, it is sold at a very high price. It starts at some $10,000 or something. But for students, it's hardly anything. You just need a few documents from your school or college, upload it, your ID cards and all that. You get this access. You wouldn't believe how good LinkedIn Learning is. It's made very easy for every single, even if you're a layman in the topic, you get to learn a lot in LinkedIn. Try and take those if you can afford it and share it with your friends who can't. Okay, very important here. Most of it is quite self-explanatory. How do you develop your skills? These skills could be anything. Your interpersonal skills, your communication skills, your emotional quotient skills, could be anything. I mentioned here on top as your overall degree performance. Your grades do matter, unfortunately. As freshers, the first thing any organization looks for is how well you perform. It's only the first 5 years of your life, anybody will ask you, what did you score? After 5 years, trust me, your certificates are never asked. People are only bothered about your experience and your specialized certifications. Nobody will ask you about graduation, your masters, everything will go into the back of your pages. But all your specializations come forward. So please understand when I say overall degree performance is related qualifications, not that I performed well in 10th class, I got 100. Only thing in degree I got 60. No, nobody talks about that. We are talking about only your career related degrees or qualifications. As of now, please focus on theoretical knowledge because you will not, there's no scope of gaining practical knowledge. Learn the theory well. Because what happens is when you learn the theory well, your thinking or understanding a particular task, when you join an organization, your perspective towards it changes. You will understand it better. You will be able to relate to what you learned better. Let's say you did not study a particular topic in college and you get into that kind of a role where you're handling, you know, those theories which you should have learned and you didn't. So you'll have to start from zero. So don't get into such a situation. Understand it. By heart is not understanding. I'm sure that a lot of students are very good at by hearting, who have got photographic memory, but that does not help in the long run. Understand. Understand, write in your own words. There's nothing better than that. Focus on your personality development, very, very important. Your body language. You don't need to dress in Gucci's and Berlutis and Ferragamos and show off money. No, that does not. Your personality is not that. Your personality is how well you're dressed for the occasion. Let's say you go to a dance party, you need to wear comfortable shoes, right? You can't go in your formal shoes with leather soles. That's uncomfortable. So you're not dressed for the occasion. So the same way, always dress for the occasion. Very, very important. Because the first thing a person notices is you might be very good at speaking, but very bad at dressing. But unfortunately, when a recruiter looks at you, they see how well you can carry their company's image. So always dress immaculately. It does not mean that I'll go to college in a torn t-shirt. No, my friend. Your formative years for your career start now. Polish your shoes, dress dignified, socially acceptable manner. Anything out of college, do whatever you want. Wear torn jeans, go in your undergarments. No problem. So personality development is very important. It's an overall development. It talks about your communication. It talks about even how you react to situations. Very, very important. Learn to stay calm. Half your problems in a discussion gets solved by not reacting. Because people either overreact or underreact or react. But when the situation demands not reacting, don't let your face also show those expressions. Your face speaks, even though you want to lie, your face shows off. learn those tricks. Sit down in front of a mirror. I'm very sure all of you are very good liars. If you have come to this level, you have lied to your parents who know you better than anybody else. Still, your parents act dumb because they don't want to disturb your confidence. Remember that. I've learned it the hard way. Do your summer projects, go to your friends' companies, go to your neighboring uncle's business, tell you want to come there for a day, sit down, see how it is. You never know what you're going to learn, what you might like. There will be a lot of things which you might be in HR, but you might be made for sales. How do you know that? So go visit places, sit with people, discuss, take up part-time jobs, uh, be it even get to a supermarket, do merchandising. There are a lot of these FMCG companies who are looking out for salespeople who they pay by the hour. Go there, understand how difficult sales is. People think it's a very easy task. It isn't. You would know how tough a customer is. This is especially for people who want to make sales as their career. Very good. Fast growth, but no customer is good. So do part-time jobs. It could be anything. You might like motorbikes. Go sit with a mechanic and learn the trade. Nothing wrong taking care of your own bike. Excuse me. Be flexible to learning. Always accept it. Never just sideline anything in a way that, oh, I don't need this. Whatever you can learn, learn. Please excuse me. Too much of talking, I guess. Previously, I mentioned this point. Participate in college activities, very important. This point also I covered. Try to meet industry specific people. Learn to identify opportunities. Now, how do you identify opportunities? Simple. Be selfish. There's nothing to it. There's no written theorems and theories to identify opportunities. It's just your intuition, your gut feeling. As long as it is right, it does not hurt people. As long as it is socially acceptable, and yes, it suits you, go ahead, do it. You will learn from your mistakes. As of now, you are walking and running, but do you know how many times you would have fallen down and how many times your parents would have lifted you and taught you to walk? You don't know that because you don't remember that part. The same way in life, you fall, you learn. If you do the same mistake again, that's when it's called a habit. The first time it's a mistake. Error is a mechanical thing. It is not a human thing. There is no human error. It's a mistake. The first time only. Second time, it's a habit. Always take time out. Go through everything, whatever you plan to do, twice, thrice. Read through it. Once you master it, yes, things get easy. All of you, I suggest define a career path for yourself. Do not go by these statements. My father told me, my mother told me, no. My friends did this, so I did this. No. Your friends are there. They'll be there for all your lives. Sorry, life. We have only one. So they will be there. Good friends are always there. You don't need to worry about them. Your career and your friends are two different things. Do not match them. Sometimes friends become very good partners, but that's very rare. Yes, you have time for that, but please define a career path for yourself, where you want to go, understand. Don't be lazy. Oh, I've got 2 more years to do it. Let me do it in the last year, last month. No, my friend. Define it. Make a career path. Make a flow chart. Do a SWOT analysis. See your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. And for every opportunity that comes along, do a SWOT analysis. There are a lot of analysis, but one of the easiest to do is SWOT. That's why I'm telling SWOT. You would learn those as you go into your curriculum. You would learn all these analysis techniques. Now, prepare your resume. I'm a recruiter, hardcore. I started my career in recruitment. It takes me just a few seconds to read a CV. So do not use generic CVs out of the internet. Do not download a template and fill up. Make it original. Let it be original, because when you make it yourself, go through it. Of course, you see the template, see how it's structured, what kind of data goes into it. You can see all that, but make one all by yourself, because all these recruiters would have seen millions of CVs in their life. So when they see a CV, they know whether it's a template or it's an original. Start making your CV from today. Tomorrow, when the time comes, you would have already mastered it so well that you'll have a error-free and a perfect, authentic CV. Create a LinkedIn profile for yourself. And please, if you are doing all kinds of naughty stuff on your Instagrams and Facebooks and Snapchats and TikToks and all that, fine, keep it, no problem, enjoy your life. Create another profile for yourself which is socially acceptable. Whatever you do in there, keep it socially acceptable, because every time a company recruits a fresher, your whole life comes in front of them through social media. People have lost jobs for sympathizing some XYZ, which is not acceptable by society. So it could be anything. Please be careful. Sorry. Please be careful with how your social media behavior. Create another one. Keep your LinkedIn as professional as possible. Do not accept unwanted people. Let your LinkedIn profile be crisp, clean, black and white. Keep it industry specific. Yes, you don't need to have 1,000 people there. You might have only a few hundred, but keep it relevant. LinkedIn is the first source of information. As of now, you can start off posting, you can start liking, you can start reposting whatever you like specific to your career line, so that there is a footprint left. And when people go through your profile pages, they see all this coming up. So they know that this person is serious with his career. This person knows what he's talking. This person is not just blabbering just because he has to or she has to. So create a proper profile for yourself. Very, very important, because all your references, you never work for a company to get a reference check or a recommendation letter. If some of you work, good. If you didn't, LinkedIn is the first source which recruiters look at. And let's say when you have applied for a job, you are called in for an interview, always take time out. Learn about the company. Learn about what the organization is about. Learn about the industry. Use terms like, let's say, the company's name is Aditya. Type in Aditya in news. See if they've been in news for any wrong deeds. See if they've been in news for any good deeds, any achievements. Glassdoor is a very good source, because it allows employees from companies to speak their heart out. So people will give anything and everything because they can stay anonymous here. So you can come to understand about companies through these feedbacks. Because see, there are always disgruntled employees. So you know whom to sideline and whom to take seriously. I'm sure you guys are smart enough. Yeah, I spoke about the SWOT analysis. This is covered. Yeah, this page is talking about what you should look out for. It's your choice. Yeah, it is your choice to be an employee or an employer. What I suggest is, if ever you want to get into you want to start your own business, first work for 2 years, big, small, anywhere, be it even a pandabba, that will teach you a lot. Do whatever you want. Nothing is small, nothing is big. Everywhere there's dignity of labor. But work. When you work for these 2 years, your whole perception changes. That's when you start your business. Take it slow. Take it with baby steps. Fall down. Make mistakes. Learn. Do not repeat. No business house has started on its own at 100%. They all started at zero. They all learned through their mistakes. But the only people who went forward are the ones who learned from their mistakes and did not repeat it. Let's take the example of Thomas Alva Edison, the guy who invented the light bulb. He perfected the light bulb only after a few thousand attempts. So when in an interview he was asked that how does he feel about his failure for 999 times, he gave a beautiful answer. He said, I don't consider it as a failure. I learned how not to make a light bulb 999 times. So it's a way you look at things. Never let failures define you. Those are all part of life. You fall, you get up. Let's say recently in COVID, I lost my job. I was nice and happy. 2 years, had fun. I was HR consulting. I went back to my old employers. I told them I don't want employment. I'll take up temporary roles. I can help you with whatever it is. So that's what I was doing. And then I thought, yeah, this is the right time for me to move into my own business. And that's how I got, that's where I am now. Whenever you're looking for an organization, some of the questions you need to ask is, you join as a fresher, no problem. Take up, join as an intern. Ask them the question, what is my career progression? What is my next step? Let's say I do well and you want to keep me permanent. What is my next step? What would be my role? Your questions should be practical. Your money should be the last question in an interview. Your first question, they will ask you, do you have any questions? Don't start with how much am I being paid? No. Your first interest as a fresher should be what you're going to learn, what you're going to gain in terms of knowledge. Money will follow. If not today, tomorrow it will follow. First, look at learning, not money. Go ahead, take any job that comes along. Don't wait for the best job to come. There's nothing called the best. You make it the best or you break the best. Personality development, I spoke about. Match with your career aspirations. I'm not asking you to go take up a job in sales when you want to become an HR person. Go take a job in sales, learn it, no problem, but still keep looking out for HR. This is the time you need to shift. You should not make up a mind like, let me work 6 months here. Next, I'll move into this company after 6 months. Then I will learn that. No, no, no. Be serious. Master your trade. It's very, very important to master your trade. Now, the next important thing you need to look for whenever you're going into a job or an employment, job responsibilities. These are the questions you need to ask. What are my job responsibilities? It's very important that you have this in document because there are good companies, there are bad companies, there are worse companies. Worse companies, they put it verbal and they keep piling you with work. You can't go back and say, this was never discussed. They will say, yes, I've discussed. What is the proof that I didn't? You will not have anything on hand. Document everything. There's nothing wrong. Your company is not your friend. There is a difference between loving your job and marrying your job. Please do not marry your job. Love your job. Don't marry your company. Love your job. That's how I am. I don't marry my chair. I love my job wherever I am. Work-life balance, very, very important. Most millennials are looking at this is, I think of the census, which was done by the Economic Forum, the highest rating of what millennials are looking for in an organization is work-life balance. Initial years, forget it, because it's all for learning. Learn, give the time, give how much ever you have because you are young. You can take all the pressure. You don't have children to go run and change their diapers. You don't have wives or husbands to go home and take care of their tantrums. So please give the time. Don't bother about work-life balance. But as you progress in career, yes, it's important. If the office closes at 5 and you're still working till 6, it means you are a bad planner. It's not that they gave more work. If your boss has been unrealistic, sorry to say, you cannot choose your manager. All managers are dirty fellows because they are managers above them. Everybody has to pass on, sorry for my word, but everybody has to pass on their dirty laundry down the hill. So in your initial years, compromise a bit. Keep in mind that you're learning. You're not here to make a difference. You're only here to make a difference for yourself. So give the first 2 years to understand, master your trade, and then you can dictate terms. Because once you have mastered your trade and you're an expert in your profile, people will want you. You don't need to run behind organizations. You will be headhunted. It was only the first job which I ever applied. All my other jobs, I was headhunted. So make your profile strong. Okay, realistic expectations, I told you, please don't expect to become managers immediately. You will start from zero level. This is the biggest challenge recruiters are facing. I have quite a few friends who go on campus recruitments. I ask them, what is the biggest challenge you face? This is what they said, that all management students, the first thing they feel out of college is they have to become managers. No, my friends, please understand, you need to learn the trade. And where do you learn that from? From the bottom level up. You don't learn top to down, ever. So please be flexible, please be with an open mind, understand and be very factful. Yeah, I spoke about this. You can't choose your boss, or live with it and work around. I'm not asking you to be your boss's muse, but yeah, that's the hard truth. That's how corporates run. You don't need to be a slave, but understand the first few years, do all the dirty laundry, be the dog, be the donkey. Later on, you can dictate terms, but don't pass it on to your next subordinate. You be a good boss. Optimize your online research. Do not just stop with applying for the job. As I spoke previously, go do your research on the company, do your research on the job itself, go to Glassdoor, there are a lot of, you can do your research. Because I wanted to tell some, but they might not be relevant. I'm a purely an HR person. So that might not be useful for, but Glassdoor is for feedback. So that's one thing you can depend on. Yep. Don't restrict yourself to your area of study. I'm preaching what I practice. I'm into FMCG now. Totally different. Has got nothing to do with HR. But yes, I'm learning every day. I'm the office boy and I'm the CEO there. That's why I'm in my casual, because I came from office. Today I have to do a lot of donkey work. So that's why I'm in my t-shirt. So yeah, you don't restrict yourself to limitations that this is what I'm happy with. The day you're happy with what you have, that's what you will live in. When you get used to spending only $100, you will never earn 1 million. You will only earn 10,000 because you will spend 100, your commitments 5,000, and save 5,000. Do not restrict yourself. Just like when I give you 10,000 bucks, you know very easily how to spend it in 1 hour. But the same thing, if I give you 1 crore of rupees, you would not know. So that's why when I said do not restrict, I'm giving that example for your studies as well. Do not just stick to one field of study. When you are a finance person, don't treat finance that, okay, I've learned accounting, that's enough. No. Again, it bifurcates accounting. You'll either be handling purchases or payments. You'll be handling either bank reconciliation. If it's a larger industry, it'll even bifurcate further. So always be open to take up additional responsibilities. Always be open to learning. Your first 5 years are very, very important, and especially the first two. Yeah, the last point, it's very easy to make fun of your lecturers and professors, which I've also done as a student, in all good spirit. But now, not now, I realized it long back that they were actually my best friends in college, not the ones I sit with, because they are your well-wishers. They are taking their time out. They are sharing all the knowledge they have acquired over the years in 1 hour. And you guys are getting it for free. Please understand, what you listen, your skill comes in now, your listening skills. What you listen in 1 hour is far more effective than what you go and study for 10 hours. That 1 hour of taking down notes, concentrating on what your lecturers tell you is very, very, very important. please leave your graduation aside, whatever you have enjoyed. These are your foundation blocks, foundation stones. Please lay them correctly and lay them strong. I think I'm done with this. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So many points to be discussed right now. I would like if the students can kind of, on their switch on their videos, it would be better. If anybody has any question, he or she can ask or post it on the chat box. In the meantime,
Can I put a statement, ma'am?
yes,
Sorry to cut you, please.
absolutely, please, sir.
Friends, please understand, no doubt is a bad doubt. No question is a bad question. Please do not think that your question is silly. You are nobody to judge it. We are not here to answer perfect questions. We are here to answer anything and everything. You will not be judged. You will not be mocked. Nobody knows knows you, or nobody is going to come back to you. So feel free to ask any question. I'm open.
Anybody has any questions?
Ma'am, if we can give them a chat access, some of them might be camera shy.
They have chat access. They can type anything, I guess. They are free to chat. Sir, I would like to
ma'am.
ask you certain questions,
Yes,
if you
please.
permit, if you permit. First
Yeah,
of
ma'am,
all,
please go ahead.
there was one slide where you mentioned about the skills being transferable skills. That was a very interesting kind of a tonality where you kind of rated it from the most important ones to the last one, least important one, and you scaled leadership to be the last one. Certainly, because they are fresh management graduates and they're not expected to be leaders from the very first go. Though they have this misnomer since they are, graduating out of a postgraduate school, business management school, they think they are the managers from the day one. But however, it is the reality that we have to start
Yes,
from the
ma'am.
very basic job. But how, why do you call them transferable skills? Whom, where is it being transferred or how is it getting transferred?
Okay, when I say transferable skills is, for example, a particular job requires you to be proficient in Excel. So this particular candidate who's attending the interview already has the knowledge which he will transfer it to his job.
Okay,
They don't need to train the person in Excel.
okay.
Let's say the person is applying for a very junior position of a data entry. This person has a typing speed of 45 words per hour, sorry, per minute. So that's a transferable skill, which they don't need to train.
Okay.
So in recruitment, when we say a transferable skill is a skill the person carries, which he can get working on the day one.
Okay. So I was of the notion that it is getting transferred from the faculty to the students, like Excel skills, MS Office or Excel. When we are talking about, we have these courses where the students are getting to learn and they are getting hands-on experience to practice it, learn it, so that they can transfer it to the jobs. So
Correct.
that is how.
Correct.
Okay.
Because it was what corporates look for in candidates. So any of these skills related to your job, as I mentioned, let's say if these people already have a knowledge about how HRMS systems work.
Right.
Or they have worked on it.
Right.
Even if you work on one, the logic is the same with everything.
Right.
So that's a transferable skill. If they ask you, for example, let's say the recruiter says, we use Oracle, but what have you worked on? If the person says, I've worked on SAP, they say, okay, fine. End of the day, he's worked on in ERP. So he or she knows how to transfer the skill.
True. We have two questions. Shubhendu is asking, sir, I have done SQL. Will that be helpful in management?
Structured query language in management only in an IT industry. But if you're taking it as a general, no, it's an industry specific thing, that skill.
Okay.
Again, let me go back to Excel. Excel is applied in every function. Excel is applied in every organization. that is a universal skill. SQL is a specific industry skill. But yes, you can do your management, get into IT companies. You can grow there as well. Since you already know, I'm not an IT guy, so correct me, I might be wrong as well. In all these IT companies which are into development, you can still join them. And yes, you're a management person. So your growth is faster than a person who's just an SQL and he's into programming and language. But you as a management person, your breadth of knowledge is far superior than a person who's not qualified.
So, to some extent, will it be helpful in the business analytics domain, or when we are talking about data analytics or business analytics?
Already you teach statistics.
Right.
The base of any analytics is statistics. Whatever we learn there is what we implement here. And what happens is, again, comes down to Excel. Only the first time you create your formulas
Right.
for any particular task, let's say the amount of time spent online and offline during
Right.
office hours. So once the queries are set, you're only putting in numbers.
Hmm.
So it's only the first time that we work on data. All analytics is only the one-time work. So every time a new SOP comes, it's a first-time work. After that, it's only enhancement, but the base does not change.
True. 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 Sir, there is one more question from Pranav. He is asking, would you recommend MBA to BTech CS guy, computer software, computer system guy?
Anybody. MBA is a very general management course. The first year you learn everything. You study everything, marketing, you study HR, you study finance, you study stats, quantitative techniques, operations, communication. It's very general. Only the second year you specialize. And even if you specialize, for example, let's say you are a BTech person, you might be, let's say you're a mechanical engineer. You can be in a manufacturing firm in production, but in management, and you know how the machinery runs also.
Hmm.
So your roster is far more superior than others.
Right.
Because in any manufacturing concern, no machine shuts down. Only when it comes to repair, it shuts down. Now it is running 24 hours. So the same way, the way you understand the function and the business is far superior. You're a management person and you're a technical person as well. You're again carrying a transferable skill with you.
Is that widening the horizon of this particular student, or is it adding on to the skills?
Ma'am, he's BTech what? I
BTech
think there
CS,
are computer sciences.
computer
Yeah,
science.
again, the whole IT industry is open.
Okay.
Project management.
So you are widening the horizon by doing an MBA.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, MBA it is knowledge. It's not a course for a cobbler and you have to become a cobbler. No, it is not that you're a civil engineer, you can only construct bridges, roads, and buildings. No, it's a management person, a qualified management person is somebody who has or is a jack of all and master of none when they come out of college. They know how an organization runs theoretically. They know how every department runs theoretically. They know how each procedure should be theoretically. Each organization changes it to their needs and tweaks it to their needs and for their ease of working. That you have to learn after going there. But the basis is the same.
Right. There is another question from Bhanu Prasad, though this question is like deja vu for us as well, because they keep on asking this question when they are in the college campus. Which will be the best choice, either finance or marketing? So, which is like,
See, first, let me bifurcate the question. And marketing is not sales, sales is not marketing. Marketing is brand management, advertising, above the line advertising, below the line advertising, product positioning, product entry, market analysis. This is marketing. Sales is not marketing, sales is selling. So do not club both of them together. Easy talking about marketing or sales. Sales and finance or marketing and finance?
it is finance or marketing. They're asking for the choice of finance or marketing.
If you're good with numbers, go with finance, because every top CEO out of 100 CEOs, if you take, 98 will be finance people. The fastest growing profile in an organization is a finance profile.
My take on that is like from my professional experience, I have seen people with engineering background getting into a field, a sophisticated field like intellectual property. From there, this person was not liking this particular job, and he was uh, just not liking it, right? So he moves on to marketing, and he flourished like anything. So that is the
Yes, ma'am.
kind of movement also
Yes, ma'am.
happens. So
Correct.
I don't know whether we should be kind of restricting ourselves into that silo of being into finance, being into marketing just because I love numbers, so I have to be in finance. Probably I might like, or I might enjoy doing marketing as well.
Yes, ma'am. You can change it later, but first master and do justice to your finance specialization. Learn the trick of the trade and then move.
Yes, yes,
That's a
but
new
I
challenge.
to that question, probably the answer can be it depends on what you like to do the most. I mean, if you like doing number crunching, if you like understanding the financial concepts, if you like, assessing the risk of a particular project, yes, certainly you should be going for finance. If you
Yes,
like
ma'am.
selling particular thing, if you like marketing yourself, probably you should be choosing up marketing.
I'm with you on that, ma'am.
That is what
It
my
boils down to, yeah,
yes,
no, I'm with you on that. It boils down to what is your area of interest.
yes,
Because if
your
it is
area.
not your interest, you will not give you 100%.
Yeah, but probably this is too soon to discuss on all these things. Probably you should come in. You should start the courses, understand the courses first, and then probably
Correct.
we can be in a position to discuss all these things. There is one more
Can I
question.
add one thing here, ma'am?
Yes, absolutely,
For
sir.
Bhanu Prasad, uh, you're given 1 full year to understand what suits you better.
Hmm.
The first year is you're going to study a little bit of every subject.
Yes,
So you have 1 year to decide. Rightly said, ma'am.
yes. So it's too soon to kind of question that or answer that question as well. There is another question from Pujita where she asks, please describe briefly about subjects included in marketing, HR, and finance. So would you like
That
to take
would
that?
see, I can talk about HR. If I'm talking about marketing, I'm not doing justice. Neither finance am I doing justice because I'm not a finance or a marketing person. Uh, I can talk about HR. Human resources management is, as I told you, it talks about the full life cycle of an employee in an organization. That is, the first stage is recruitment, the last stage is exit, separation, layoff, pink slips, whatever you call, resignations. So everything that happens in between from the start till the end is what HR handles. That is, let me take you through the various stages. Practically, what happens in an organization. But whatever you're going to learn is you're going to learn the theory part of it. So practically what happens, you recruit a person, you onboard a person, you train the person, you assign the person to a particular task, department, function. The person grows there. End of every quarter or end of bi-yearly, every 6 months, 1 year, depends on the organization, there's a performance appraisal. You consistently score in a performance appraisal, you get a bonus, you get an increment, you get a promotion. So you move to the next role. Then you train the people below you. So there's continuous learning which happens. Apart from this, there's most important thing and the worst enemy of HR is change management. Then you prepare company policies, you implement policies, you make an employee handbook. It depends again on the size of the organization you are in. Every organization does the same thing, but the scale of it reduces with small organization and the scale of it increases in a bigger organization and even bifurcates further. The bigger the organization, the functions of each specialization for HR or marketing or finance or information systems, it bifurcates. So you never are going to do everything collectively. As you go to a bigger organization, your specialization narrows down. There's a funnel effect. So the smaller the organization, the wider the scope of learning initially. But the bigger the organization, there's always pros and cons to everything. So what I suggest is grow. Don't leave any opportunity that comes to you. Keep a job in hand, then look for another.
True. I also agree. Whenever there are some queries from the students when they ask, why are we supposed to learn this when we want to get into marketing? Why should we take up, understand what is HR when we are supposed to get into marketing? That is my passion area. But again, the answer to that question will be we need to know everything as a manager, as a future manager or as aspiring manager. We need to know all these aspects of a particular organization. Then only we can
Correct.
function best as a
Correct.
manager.
If you
That
don't know what an office boy does in an organization,
yes,
if you don't know how to make tea or you never had good tea, how would you know what's a bad tea?
true, true, absolutely. Try your hands
Let
out
me
in
take the
everything.
example from this chart, ma'am, if you could allow me.
Sure.
If you see this chart, there are very few people who gave a comma after sir.
Hmm. True.
So this gentleman, whoever asks this doubt, has to understand those people use grammatical signs. If you don't know ABCD, how would you learn grammar? A person has come to grammar, that means the person has mastered alphabets and words.
Right.
So to
True,
master
sir.
something, it might feel that it's useless now. But my friend, when you sit and start making project reports in one day, here you are given 1 month to study for a subject. There you'll be given 1 day to make a report, your thesis, your analysis. How would you come up? This is what you're trained for. Take the pressure. Love that pressure. Don't procrastinate.
True. To answer Pujita's question, I would also add, Pujita, these subjects that you are asking for is probably mentioned in the brochure that has been shared with you. The admission brochure will have it. Although my colleague, Dr. Arijit Santikari, the PGDM head, is also sharing the subjects that are taught in marketing, like we have strategic brand management, integrated marketing communication, B2B marketing, consumer behavior, digital marketing, retail management, services marketing, customer relationship management, content marketing, sales management are some of the subjects that we usually have in our campus for marketing. Similarly, we have certain subjects for finance. Similarly, we have it for HR, we have it for BA, we have it for banking, insurance, because we have all these courses running. So all these details can be there, can be made up, is available on the website and even in the admission brochure. You can go through it, and in case you have doubt, you can clarify it with the admissions team. Another question from Abhijit is, sir, what things should we start preparing for before studying PGDM syllabus?
Important thing, initiation, an open mind for learning, respecting your teachers and your lecturers, and
Listening
be
skills.
part of every single non-curricular activity as well.
True, true. Sir, I would like to ask you one question.
Yes,
When you
please.
were introducing yourself, you mentioned about your CIPD course.
Yes.
How after a long time you felt that your HR skills are obsolete, so you plan to do a CIPD and you went on to do it.
Yes,
Would it
ma'am.
be the same advice for the students? Because we at times feel, the PGDM, we have done PGDM means a postgraduate degree is done and our education finishes off there.
Right.
So
Let me put it this way. Let's say a few people will stay in India, few will fly to the west, few will fly to the east. Talking about HR, why I chose CIPD is I didn't wanted to study material and write. CIPD has a structure of doing your own research, understanding the subject matter, and writing in your own words. There was two options which I had, SHRM and CIPD. CIPD's way of studying is understand and research and project report. SHRM is you have the what do you say? You have the research part of it, you have the writing part of it, but there are prescribed materials to it. You have, but prescribed material is 70%, research 30%. CIPD is prescribed material is 5%, research and project is 95%.
So what
So that's what was.
So what you're ideally suggesting is we should be more into research, we should be more into practical
Correct.
oriented courses.
Correct.
which to some extent even SSIM is having, the kind of
Right,
projects, the
ma'am.
kind of activities that we make the students do here is lot relevant to the industry, and they don't get a chance to kind of copy it from any particular text and just give the answer. That is not acceptable here as well.
Correct.
And there are classes where they need to, kind of go out of their syllabus to think, to prepare, to present, and they have to do all these
Right.
things. So that
Right,
way,
ma'am.
yes, to some extent.
And to add one more point here, SHRM is widely accepted in Canada, US. CAPD is widely accepted in
Middle
UK,
East.
Europe, Middle East.
Middle East, yes, I was getting to that point. Yes,
That was also one of the reason I took it up.
true, sir. Sir, another question. You mentioned about flipping, a lot of times
Flippers.
a lot of times we have to flip our position. We have to kind of give in to something we are not in a position to do. How do you think the student should manage the particular question in the interview? Should that be a story, or because obviously the truth might not be very convincing at times?
Correct. Correct. See, a good recruiter will not take everything at face value. Neither will a good recruiter always will take everything with a pinch of salt. They are there to understand the person. They are not there to catch the mistakes of a person. So if you feel, let me be very blunt here. If you have been kicked out of an organization for sexual harassment, please don't say. Don't get out of that situation. Do not even. But yes, you got out of an organization because there was a restructure and your position got redundant. Yes, that's good enough. You should not, there's nothing to feel bad. Yes, it was a company's decision that they restructured and certain positions went redundant or obsolete, and they had to move people. Friends, you will be dropped like hot potatoes the moment you don't need. Businesses are cutthroat. They're only bothered with cost reduction, more profit.
What if somebody had a fight with the boss, or probably an argument with the boss,
Everywhere, man.
to which it
80%.
led to be a flipper, that kind of a situation? Should that be mentioned, or would it be taken in a very negative light?
See, to give you a perspective with the number, I think it is 82% of the people interviewed by the Economic Forum study, they said they left the company because of a bad boss, because of the manager. So it's 82%. So people don't move jobs because they don't like the job. People move jobs because of bad manager. That's 82% straight away.
Another important term which does the round is resilience. We all talk about resilience. We have to be resilient in terms. Even you have mentioned about change management. Being resilient, how far do you support that theory that we should be resilient even if the things are not going in favor of you, the boss is not kind of favoring you, or the situation is not favoring you? Would you be suggesting the students, because these days students are a little more not taking in everything with a
Correct.
sweetheart, so that would, as in,
Yeah. The times have changed. Unlike our times where we used to compromise, now people don't compromise. This is where comes in, do a SWOT analysis. With that particular job and the task you're doing, what are the strengths from that you are getting? What are its weaknesses? What opportunities do you have and what threats do you have? If weakness and threats are more, move out. If strengths and opportunities are more, stay.
okay, right. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, another thing I wanted to ask is, you have talked about listening, and yes, I as a communication faculty also believe that listening is the most important aspect that any student, or even the people like us, needs to kind of master. What are your tips so that these students can improve their listening skills? Because other things, reading, writing, speaking, we can improve on time, but listening is something
Correct.
you need to do it yourself.
Correct. Listening takes more of effort than read, write, and speak. Let me put simple uh, tasks you can do to be a good listener. First and foremost, let the person finish talking. Foremost is let the person finish talking. What if if you start headbutting in between, the person will lose his his or her concentration. They will lose the flow of speech. Your question might have an answer in the second part of the speech, which you're not allowing it to come. So you are avoiding yourself that extra effort of asking the question. Just wait and listen. If it is not answered, then go ahead. Feel free to question. We are not generalists to put a person in a fix. We are here to gather information, take knowledge. So by listening, you gain all this. A good listener is always a good speaker, because by listening, you have got the full question, understood the question, you have broken down the question and then answering.
Right. So this is like a skill that you need to try working out on yourself. You have to be conscious about, improving the
Correct.
skill.
Very
Have to
consciously.
be.
Very
Yes.
consciously.
Yes.
It is a conscious effort.
True. It's a very, very conscious effort, and you need to practice yourself. I have to become a good listener. That is the motivation that you should have, so that I can become a
Yes, ma'am.
better listener, better speaker, better
Yes, ma'am.
writer, probably.
Yes, ma'am. The same thing, if you ask the current generation, unfortunately, their time frame of concentration is reducing.
Very.
Because even I've noticed in our time, the classes were for 1 hour plus. Now it's 45 minutes.
No, sir. We have 1 hour 15 minutes classes here as of now.
No, I'm not talking about SSI.
Okay. Yes.
I'm talking about my daughter.
Yes.
She's in her grade 13, and I'm wondering why is it for 45 minutes? And I went back and did my research. Because the concentration levels are coming down, the curriculums have changed and keeping it for 45 minutes. Before, in our parents' time all as well, the time frame for full 100% concentration was 1 hour. Now people are so used to these dirty Instagram reels and TikToks for 10 seconds and 20 seconds. They're not liking anything beyond 1 minute.
Most of them don't even read or watch the news because they have these shortcuts
Correct.
to news.
Correct.
Yes.
See, sorry, ma'am. Even if they want to spend time on the TV, but spend it, use something knowledgeable. Go watch the speech of S. Jaishankar, our External Affairs Minister. He speaks so beautifully.
Yes.
He'll slap a person and the person will know after 5 minutes that he slapped him.
Yes.
There's something to learn from there. You want to speak Hindi, look at Modi speak, Amit Shah speak. Even though Annamalai, he has a heavy South Indian accent, but when he speaks, he garners so much of attention.
True, sir. But
So
nowadays,
you can always.
Nowadays, that span of attention has reduced and shrunk to a very, very big extent.
Correct, ma'am. Let's put it this way. Even Arnab Goswami had to mellow down so much. He was shouting 10 years back. The Amar was shouting. Now is he shouting? He speaks the same thing, but with a smile.
Yes. So with that smile, I remember, sir, you talked about masked questions. The interviewers usually ask masked questions. What kind of a research were you asking the students to do while answering these masked questions? And
I will first give an example and then come to what they have to do.
Yes.
For example, one of the most common things which recruiters ask is, what do you do in your free time? Immediately the person will think, oh, apart from work, what I do in my free time? I go out with friends, I watch a movie, I go out with my girlfriend on a date, I go out with no girl will tell about boyfriend. So these are the things they start talking. No, it's not that. What you do in your free time is, they're not talking about what you do in your bathroom and your bedroom. They're talking about how well you use your time. They want to see what you do with your time. So it is not your personal time what they want to know. Your answer should be bluff. No problem. When I have free time, I read the newspaper. When I have free time, let's say I have a liking, I'm a scuba diver. So I like scuba diving. So I watch scuba diving videos. And to prove it, I have 12 certifications in scuba diving. So I'm still, inculcating my knowledge in scuba diving. I like overlanding and traveling. So what do you do in your free time? The right way to answer is, I generally don't have free time because I always keep myself busy learning something or the other. But when I do get free time, I watch some travel videos.
Right. So is it okay to bluff like you mentioned? I mean, bluff should not be zero-based bluff. It has
Ma'am,
to
the
be. It
first
has
part
to
of my
have some
answer was a
background.
bluff. The first part of my answer was a bluff because I'm contradicting my own statement previously about working late. If you plan everything well, you will have time.
Yes,
So the way of putting it that way, that I'm a busy person,
yes, yes,
you're
yes.
not you're not lying on the face, but yes, it's a bluff.
But even if you are you're not into scuba diving that much, but still you should have some fair knowledge because the recruiter's next question might be about scuba
Correct.
diving. So you have to have
Correct.
some base to it. Yes.
Correct.
Yes, right, sir. So, sir, another thing that I wanted to ask you is, while answering problem-solving skills, the question that you asked, do you have any experience? Can you give us an example of how would you be handling problem-solving areas, right? Should we give some kind of a personal experience where we handled or managed some kind of a problem instant?
Anything, ma'am. Because
Will that work?
as freshers, they're not looking at your organizational level problem.
Yes.
Once you're experienced, it comes down to organizational level. You're not supposed to speak personal. But now, let's say, for example, how do I put it? Yeah, let's say the marketing team created for what is our fest called, ma'am? Samanvai. Okay,
Yes.
there will
Yes.
be a
Samanvay.
team with, yeah, so there will be a team created to get sponsorships.
Yes.
Let's say this X person who's been asked a question worked over there, he can start bluffing, telling that we were not getting sponsorships. But I did this. I
Right.
approached these people. I asked them to help me out. So these people directed me over there and we could get 10,000 rupees sponsorship.
So this is like acting this is a two-pronged strategy. You are telling that you take initiative, and secondly, you are doing
Everything,
problem
ma'am.
solving. Yes,
See, end of the day, they are putting you in a fix by asking these strict questions to see how well you can
get out
get
of
out
it.
of it.
Yes, get out of it. Right, exactly.
Everybody wants smart people.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Another question from Shashidhar. It is saying, sir, after graduation or in placements, what should be more important, job role or company? What should be more important? Is it job role or company? That should be the question.
So what is more important in a coin, head or tail? Both. Both together make a coin. You remove any one side of a coin, it's not a coin. Job role and company go hand in hand. There can be bad companies with very good job roles. There can be bad job roles with very good companies as well. They both go hand in hand. And one more thing is, how would you know a company is good or bad? With the little information available on the internet. And that is your judgment. That is what you are thinking. It could be totally different inside. All the people who gave your feedback on Glassdoor might be those people who got terminated for bad performance. And they go back and start using that platform. You can't trust them, but it would be genuinely a good company. So for your initial first 2 years, it's the job role that matters because you need to gain the experience.
So
Company you can choose later.
So taking from what you mentioned, there can be good companies with bad job roles. There can be bad companies with good job roles. So in the initial stages, you ask them to choose good job roles, good job
Yes.
roles rather than the good companies.
There's no good or bad.
Yes,
Get the
because
job
the
first.
experience, yes.
Learn. Don't like it, move. How much ever flipper you are in the first 2 years, nobody sees, nobody bothers. But once you gain your experience, that's when they see your commitment, how they talk about 5 years, 4 years, and all that.
Right, right. Sir, another question that I wanted to ask you is, in the post-COVID era, a lot of things have changed. So is there a particular shift in the corporate expectations, especially when you mention about willingness to move? You are asking them to move since if in case you don't have any dependency, if you don't have any responsibility to be met, it is always better to move. But here we are also talking about work from home opportunities, all these things are being talked about in the post-COVID era. So how do you see
Right,
that?
ma'am. Post-COVID, ma'am, all my data is from World Economic Forum. Post-COVID, it's 62.5% are preferring, or organizations are preferring for work from office, 62.5. Fully remote, that is work from home is 23%, hybrid That is, they work from home. Whenever required, they come to
Work
office for
office.
meetings.
Yes.
That's 14.5%. So it all depends on the organization and their working style and culture.
Okay.
For
Okay.
example, I will take the example of my wife. She works in an industry. She's a trader. She's a petroleum trader. She works in an industry. Even before COVID, they had the concept of hybrid working. They could work from anywhere in the world. They can go sit on the beach and work. They can go anywhere in the world and work, no problem. As long as their work is done, nobody asks where you are. No, they don't need to come to office. COVID has taught us all the rest of the things, WFO, WFH,
Right.
but there were industries already working like that.
But I
It was
agree
just
with you
copied
on.
from them.
I agree with you on one point. The willingness has to be constant. You have to
Correct.
have that will to work. Given any situation,
Correct.
you should be in a position to take that initiation. Yes, absolutely, sir.
True, ma'am. And coming to your point again, post-COVID era, what organizations are looking for is your question, right?
Yes, sir.
In the study which was done here, more than 80% of the organizations are encouraging remote working. For the main reason being, every number of staff who are not working in the office, that much of furniture depreciation, that much of electricity, that much of AC, that much of office resources are not used. And most importantly, once they've devised this plan and made up the structure that, okay, these can work remotely, these can work hybrid, these are in office, their real estate money is also getting saved. So it's revenue. A penny saved is penny earned.
Possibility is also to attract more talent from a diverse geographical area. Possibly.
Correct.
That's my understanding.
Correct.
Right,
And
sir.
even in that module, there are companies who are not able to come out of their traditional working style. They expect the home of a person to be like office.
Yes.
They have to overlook all the child screaming and the utensils banging. It's okay. You are invading into their space. You're not doing a favor. A lot of companies want you to work from home, but don't pay for their internet. They want to use these person's internet for free. Bad, as I told you, bad company is good profile. Good profile, bad company also are there.
Okay. Right, sir. Sir, can emotional intelligence be developed, or is it a natural aspect? Because you didn't touch base upon that emotional intelligence point, because I wanted to ask that question earlier.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just coming to that. I made some points. One second. I need to open a document. I think
In the meantime, the students can also share any question if they have, or
Yes.
they can also write some feedback, how the session went, what they feel about the session, how can we make the session even more beneficial for you all. You're free to write. You are free to switch on your videos. Let us see you all.
If I can take your question, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. For the attendees, I just want to let you know, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient is the ability to understand, use, manage your emotions in a positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome the challenges, and diffuse conflict. This is the meaning of
Emotional.
this is a bookish meaning, which I just read out. Now, when I did my research on this particular topic, there were a lot of data which was available. I zeroed down to the most easiest and to understand. There are 4 aspects to focus on to develop your emotional intelligence. That's self-awareness, self-regulation, social skills, and I'm sorry, I missed out something. Let me repeat again. Self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and social skills. Let me take each point. Self-awareness is nothing but your ability to understand and identify your own emotions. I mentioned some time back about action, reaction, overreaction, underreaction.
Underreaction.
This is what it is. You need to know yourself how and where you are reacting. for during what situations or what is your trigger point. You need to make a conscious effort to understand, okay, this is what I don't like, this is what annoys me, this is what irritates me, or this is what I like. It could be anything. Identify your trigger points. Be aware of your emotions yourself. Try to work around the negative ones. Gain and inculcate those which are socially acceptable. There are always two people in you. It's not only Gajni. Everybody has two people. One, what they are when they are alone, and the other when they are in front of others.
Yes.
So when you are alone is what you do this. Sit down, think. You are your best teacher. You know about yourself. You can lie to the world, but you cannot lie to your mirror. Okay, the second point I'll take up for emotional intelligence is self-regulation. It means self-awareness opens the door to self-regulation, which is the ability to manage these emotions and behaviors, which I covered it. Once you identify your trigger points, work on them. When you get into a situation, do whatever, bite your lip, pinch yourself, count 1 to 10, go have a smoke, just get out of the situation, close your eyes, sit down and come back. Once, twice, thrice you have done that, the third time, your mind automatically starts doing what you have done. So you know how to react. Slow down a bit. This is what regulation means. You are giving yourself instructions of what not to do. No. The third point being social awareness. Social awareness is our ability to understand the emotions of others, and a key component of this is empathy. Please understand the difference between empathy and sympathy. How do I put it in an example? Let's say one of your friend, both of you are walking down the road. A friend trips and falls down, scratches his knee. Your reaction for sympathy is, oh no, what a deep hurt. Oh shit, you're bleeding. Sorry for my language. Oh, you're bleeding. I think you need stitches. That is sympathy. Nobody wants your sympathy. Empathize. Understand, he's already got hurt. The fellow is in pain. He's bleeding. All that you can see. You don't need to disturb his mind more. The next thing is what has to be done. Come sit down. Let's get to the hospital first. That is empathy. Understand the person. You don't need to pinpoint what's happening to the person. The person is already feeling. This is the most crude way I could empathize and sympathize.
True, true, true.
Now, the fourth point is social skills. Now, social skills are what separate a great manager from a good one. I was going on repeatedly telling you about you can't choose your manager. There could be bad managers. That's a hard fact. We can't help it. Now, these skills, which include influencing, conflict management and resolution, teamwork, and the ability to inspire others, make it possible to build, maintain healthy relationships in all parts of your life. Those are your social skills. As long as you master these skills, your emotional intelligence is quite high, which is measured in EQ, emotional quotient.
So you are practically saying that we can develop that emotional intelligence.
We can develop.
We can develop.
But again, this is self-help. Nobody can keep teaching you that in this situation you need to do this. No. You
Yes.
need to know where you are reacting, where you're overreacting, where you're underreacting. Every
Right.
time your mother tells you to eat, you feel your mother is overreacting. No. She knows her child better than anybody else. When your
Right.
father says, don't do this, this is not correct, don't do this, you think your father does not know anything. All of us, all children feel we are way far ahead of our parents. No, it's not like that. They have seen the world. They can anticipate 10 steps behind you.
Right, sir. Sir, taking the last point that you mentioned about socialization, there are a few
Yes.
students who are introverts by nature. They don't speak up because probably they are feeling a little shy about their performance, their knowledge, or even there can be a language barrier. How do you think they can improve, or what are the tips that you would be providing to them? Because there are a lot of students, and that socialization is important both for development of emotional intelligence and as well for developing as a manager, future manager.
Ma'am, there are two ways to look at it. I'm really sorry to be this negative. If the case has gone way beyond control, they need real help. They have to get professional help. Get to a psychologist, nothing wrong. Nobody's telling you're mad. Everybody has problems in some degree or the other. Go to a psychologist, get evaluated. The person will recommend what kind of a treatment do you need, what kind of counseling do you need. They will recommend, do it, no problem. If that helps, very good for you. There might be people who are, these are the people, let me tell you, ma'am, I have a very nice statement for this. If you start thinking what others think, what will others think? Please don't do their job. I believe very, very strongly, and all my close friends, we have shared this and we believe in this. We just show ourselves this and we understand what it is. It basically means there are only two problems in life. One is mine, the other is not mine. All these introverts think of the not problem. They're not thinking of their problem. They only think what will others think. Let them do their job, let them think, let them talk. What have you got to do? You live your life. Nobody's going to drink water for you if you're thirsty. You have to drink your own water. The day you start thinking about others, you cannot live your life.
Right, sir.
I've got better words to use, but I'll try to be socially acceptable. Let the world go to hell. Let the world do what they want. You do what you want. As long as it is socially acceptable, it is not hurting others, you're on the right path.
True, sir. True, sir. Sir, it is already getting too late, as in the students are also kind of anxious. So I will take the last question from Nandini. She's asking, sir, in the post-COVID era, we have
Yes.
observed many companies hiring in large numbers only to delay the onboarding later. What might be the reasons behind this trend?
No reasons, only one reason. Let me tell you. The salespeople would have come up and given a projection. If the current sales in the company is for 1 million, they would have given a projection of 10 million because COVID is gone. The finance people would have given a projection of 15 million profit. So the management decided, oh, in another 1 year, we are going to have this kind of projections. That means we need more people. So they informed the HR fellows, please recruit these numbers. And HR people started recruiting. How 6 months down the line, the finance people got the reality of the picture and said, sir, they went back to the management and said, board, I don't think we are going to cross more than 2 million. We should not take extra costs. So the management told HR, stop recruiting. Simple as it is.
That's the harsh reality, but we have to accept it.
Yeah, because
Post-COVID era.
if mass numbers are stopped, it's only budget.
Yes.
If 1 or 2 are stopped, hard reality is they found a better candidate. Our subtle way of putting it is they have stalled the position for the time being. Or it could be a bonus time also. So they want to delay it so the person joins after bonus. Because
Yes,
if they join within the bonus period, it's again cost the company.
yes.
There are various things for HR people to think. So
Think about,
it could be
yes.
anything.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, sir. I hope the students have, I've, kind of taken up all the questions by the students, and it was, absolutely awesome to hear so many different viewpoints, and you answered all the queries. I think and I hope that the students have got the clear direction as to what they ought to do as to become the aspiring managers, the future leaders. And before joining the PGDM courses, they can also start preparing themselves in terms of listening skills, in terms of emotional skills, in terms of socializing skills, in terms of building their LinkedIn profile. And the steps that you have already mentioned will come in handy. So thank you so much,
Thank
sir,
you, ma'am.
for sparing this time
Thank you.
with the students and with me. And it was absolutely an
Anytime,
awesome
ma'am.
session.
It's my pleasure to be of any help to SSIM. My foundation stones lie with SSIM. So I'm
Yes, I can
selfish.
understand that. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, all the students, all of them who have joined. If possible, please put in your feedback so that we can take it up later. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, if you could please share the PPT with the students so that they can refer to the notes. They can do their research.
Sure. I have the PPT, so I will be sharing it with the admissions team so that they can send it forward.
Sure.
Students, if you can please put in a little feedback so that we can improve on the sessions, it would be beneficial for all of us. Thank you so much, sir. And
Sure,
thank you
ma'am.
for sparing so much of a time, and you're being patient with all my questions. I
Thank you,
have
ma'am.
like a lot of
Uh,
questions.
Thank you from me and all the participants here. You have taken out your personal time off college hours. I hope they identify that.
Thank you so much, sir. Good night, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. On all the best to all of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.